Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of drawing lizards. So if you are new here, hi, hello. Last week we drew 4 lizards and of course they weren't fully regular normal lizards, so today as well we will draw a weird, funky, non-existent lizard. So yeah, let's go. As you can see slightly, I guess, in the sketch, we are drawing a frilled lizard, and this is from one of your suggestions. I thought it would be nice to do the most liked comments of the last video, and this was it. So I thought, hey, that's a cool idea, we should definitely do that. So I was trying my best to really make sure that it looks cool. So last week I painted the lizards with acrylic markers, and I decided to do that here as well because, you know, it's almost like a little collection, so why not do the same thing, I guess. And yeah, of course, a monstera is green, so I thought obviously we will paint it green, but I realized we have one issue where if we just paint everything green, there is no focus on the frill part, and I really wanted this leaf frill to be the main event, so I decided to take inspo for the body to be a variegated monstera, you know, like those monsteras that have white spots in them. I used to have a huge one and it kind of died because there were bugs, and I really tried to get rid of them, and I kind of did, but also the huge monstera also kind of died. But it's still alive. I cut everything and I was praying that the leaves would come back, and they kind of did. So now it has 3 little leaves. It's not how it used to be, but hopefully one day it will be as huge as it was or even bigger. But yeah, so I decided to do that for the body to make it variegated, and then we have this focus on the frill. So yeah. I was a bit worried that the head might look weird if it was in the same color scheme as the body, because the frill part is so different. So I tried to do a little bit of a gradient, because if I did the same color overall, it would just disappear into the leaf. And you know, I'm trying to find good shapes in this piece so that nothing disappears, but it flows seamlessly. So also I thought with the color that I put for the variegated part, I realized it's a little bit too dark, so I tried to fix it later. But also it was so hard to figure out which kind of greens would go best together, because sometimes some greens just don't go well together, and it's funky because you would think all greens go together, but you know, they kind of don't. You have to be really specific, or you have to make good gradients so that they do go together. But I was going for more of a lush green type of vibe here, and you know, I could have made the variegated part a little bit more detailed, because the plant usually has tiny little textures with the white and green. But the thing is, again, I didn't want to take away the focus from the frill, because if we start adding tiny little details somewhere else, the whole focus can shift to that part where we're making details. So whenever I make my drawings, I try to usually add all the details to the focus point. Usually it's the head, and then whenever we're shifting away from it, I try to do less details. Some artists also do that with colors, like they make the background less saturated and the subject more saturated, or again with the details, more details where we want to look more, or less details where it's not as important. So I always try to do that as well. And I also did it kind of with the whole pose in the legs. I tried to make them the lightest part. I still wanted the whole shape flow nicely, like the pose, so it reads well, but again, I don't want the legs to be too distracting, so that's why they're the lightest part. Welcome to the digital part of this video. I feel like it needs a name, but I guess it doesn't matter. Also, while I was drawing this and painting it, I thought it would be, again, so cute to make a little story. I like to do that, and for this one, it lives in a tropical place, and of course it hides between the leaves of the actual plant, and actually they could have different kinds of species. Maybe there is actually a one that's just green overall, and I thought, the bigger the frill, the more they achieve. Like, for example, the mating season, the bigger the frill, the more attraction they get, and vice versa. Oh, Twig wanted to say hi. Hi, Twig. I also decided to add a few textures like scales and a little rake brush thing, because I just love the brush and I love textures. So the thing about textures is you shouldn't go overboard. Our brains just fill in this information. You can just put some textures here and there, and it will feel like the whole thing has textures. So this next one, I kind of promised and I kind of shot myself in my leg. So yeah, I mentioned briefly last week that I wanted to draw a lamp lizard, and you know what? After that, I was not so sure. I wanted to draw a lamp lizard, but a lot of you guys seem to like this idea, so I thought, no, I have to actually do it. So I did it, and it is this one. So for this one, instead of a very rigid, solid metal glass maybe lamp, I decided, you know what, let's make life a bit easier and paint a lantern. It's basically a lamp, please tell me that it's okay. Anyways, so I just took inspo from lanterns, and I thought, they're usually very round, and I need to make the lizard very round then, but it would probably look weird if we made the lizard very chubby. So I thought, let's channel all this chubbiness into the tail, and that is exactly what I did. It was a bit smaller at the start, but then I decided, no, we can go bigger. Another thing I had to think about was, how do we make it seem like it is a lantern and that it is glowing? So I was trying to make this kind of effect that from the inside. We have this lightest part where the light would be coming from, and wherever it was the furthest from this part of the light, I tried to make it this orangey reddish color so that we have this feel that, yep, it's glowing. So it would be the legs, the face, and I guess the end of the tail. But I decided to also make it that the tail also have this glowing part, and it's not just in the body where the heart would be, for example. So I guess it has two parts where the light is coming from. It does take the focus from the face a little bit, since I decided that the tail would also glow, but you know, since it's so huge, basically the same size as the lizard's body, I thought, you know what, it's okay, we can have this issue, right? So I decided to keep it that way. And I also thought that since it is kind of two parts, that there could be this blackish part at the start of the tail, I guess, at the end of the body, you know, because the lanterns usually have this end point. It can vary, but I decided to make an end point for the lizard as well, maybe again to take inspo from actual lizards. When it's in danger, it drops the huge tail, and the animal or whoever thinks it's the actual lizard. Meanwhile, the actual lizard is long gone and just free and alive. I also thought it would be a little bit too boring to just keep it in this one continuous color, so I added a few details that I usually saw on the lanterns of the references I got. There were also a lot of writings, like in Japanese or Chinese, but since I don't have any idea of what it actually says on the lantern, I didn't want to just write anything, because I wish I could write lizard on the lizard, but I have no idea how to write that, and you know, Google Translator probably won't tell me fully exactly the thing I need. But yeah, anyways, I decided to digitally make it feel like it is glowing a bit more, because I thought it didn't have enough of an effect for that, so I really tried to focus on it when I was doing this digitally. So I made it a bit more saturated, a bit more glowy. Anyways, here you can also see my inspo pictures from what I was going for. I also thought, you know what, I will be adding more details to the tail as well. But yeah, let me know, do you think I achieved this glowy look that I was trying to go for? I'm not sure. And I decided to keep the tongue in this very light glowy color, because I thought, you know, it's coming from the inside, I thought it would be cute. So this third one isn't really requested from you guys, but from my boyfriend. Every time I said I'm gonna draw lizards, he said I should draw one in a onesie, and every time I said, no, that's a stupid idea, why would you suggest this? But okay, I caved and I drew a lizard in a onesie, and of course it makes total sense. This would definitely be possible. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm drawing lantern lizards and whatnot. But yeah, of course, this no idea is a stupid idea. I was just making a joke. That's basically how things work. For me, especially because it's just you have an idea and why not make it happen? Maybe it won't look good, maybe it will look amazing, you never know, but it always starts from this what if idea. Especially with the creatures I make, because a cookie cow, it's so random, but sometimes it works. I should draw more of those. I do miss my cookie cows. But yeah, since this one was a very random piece to work with and it wasn't really my idea, I struggled with figuring out what I could really do with it. So, of course, we have the onesie part. I decided the back legs would be fully covered and the front legs have the openings. And since lizards, at least I associate with color green, I decided to go for this very green color, and I like to add a little expression to it, so I decided to add a little tongue sticking out, and it has like this playful looking expression. Meanwhile, the shark is it looks almost like it's devouring the lizard, because I tried to make the shape look very shark-like. Meanwhile, this lizard is just chilling. I don't know. It seems a bit random, but I think it works. And there wasn't much that I wanted to change while doing it digitally. Just a few little things like shading, and I did decide to change the expression on the shark as well. I thought it was too neutral. Because we have this lizard funky expression, I thought it would be cool if the shark is more angry. To have like these totally different expressions, I thought it would make it more interesting, since the whole drawing is quite simple. So yeah, let me know, does this look okay? Okay, guys, we're on the last lizard. Probably last lizard for a while. I think I'm all lizard out. And I really wanted to bring back my days when I was really into these robot kind of creatures. And this one specifically is inspired from mech kind of robots. So I tried to make the shape flow, yet we have this rigidness that comes with obviously these rigid parts. So yeah, this is the last lizard. I hope you enjoyed this whole lizard kind of theme that happened. I don't know, I was just in a lizard mood. Maybe it's because of the film Hoppers, and I actually watched it and it really surprised me. This new Pixar movie, it was very funny in my opinion. I did think the lizard part would be more, but in the movie the lizard wasn't as prominent as they advertised it. So yeah, have you seen the movie? Let me know what you think. But anyways, for this lizard I was a little bit confused because it has been a while since I've drawn anything like this, but I also had so much fun with figuring things out. This specifically, I didn't really go into how it would make sense or how it would get built, because that would take too much time, and I really just wanted to get the shape right instead of the whole concept. But yeah, I think it looks pretty okay. But yeah, if you're still here, let me know which animal should we tackle next for the next series or whatever this might be. Maybe again, the top liked comments, I will look at it and I will do something with that. Also, a little self promo, I have commissions. I just opened commissions soon. Hopefully I will open my store as well. Let me know if one of these lizards should be made into stickers or maybe even into keychains. I'm not sure. I also want to make or sculpt keychains myself, but that's a little bit more complex to send to people because the postage here is a bit I hate it a little bit. But yeah, let me know what you think, which one should be a sticker. The commission info, I have it on my Instagram, and here digitally I really try to nail some of the details to really make it look like it's mechy. So I just added some little details here and there. I didn't want to overdo it. I also added some text, the year when it was made, this lizard, so it's this year, obviously. And I also added a number and my name, and the numbers are random. I don't know, it's just, I thought it would add to the whole piece. That's why there are some little scribbles here and there as well. They don't really make any sense, but sometimes that's just how it should be. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which of the lizards is your favorite, and I will put the final results here at the end. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!